Okay, now that we have seen how to draw the geometry and also place our bars onto our geometry, the next thing that we need to look at is how to actually make selections in Prokon Padds, because unlike in AutoCAD or other CAD environments, it's not as easy as just clicking your mouse on anywhere and just dragging it as you see as we're doing in AutoCAD. In Prokon Padds, it's quite different. You have to call out a certain command before you actually make your selection. So that is what we want to look at or look into. So without wasting too much time, let's just dive right into it. So the first thing that you need to understand is that for this lesson, we're just going to be using the geometry that we used or the entities that we used from the previous video. So to actually make a selection in Prokon Padds, the first thing that you need to do is acquaint yourself with the menu command or drop down menu for the block. This is where you find the definition, where you can define a block, or you can do an actions or do some actions to the block that you have defined. So of most importance, or the most important command that we're going to be using in this lesson, or to us rather for this course, and what we're going to be doing in the detailing of a slab, the thing that we need to understand is the block box. So you can always go to block and then go to where it says box, and as you can see, it tells us indicate the first corner. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to click on this point and then just drag my mouse to this point and click on the second corner, and as you can see, everything that was covered by the box is now purple to indicate that it has been selected. So the way that you see if anything is now selected or you have a block that has been defined is when it is purple in Prokon Padds. So the other thing that you want to do is that instead of going to block and then selecting box, you can always use a keyboard shortcut, and in this case the keyboard shortcut is going to be BB. So as you can see, after it's doing that, it tells us indicate the first corner. I'm just going to select again and I'm going to choose my second corner, and as you can see, after repeating that, everything has been selected and is now in purple. So you can always escape to get out of that command or to undo that command. Now the other important thing that you might want to note is that in AutoCAD, if you click and you select from the left going to the right, everything that is covered by the box will be under the selection, but if you click from the right going to the left, everything that is just going to be touched. All you need is just your box to touch anything and it will be selected. The same thing applies, but the only difference is in AutoCAD you get a blue box, and in Prokon, when you select from the right to the left you get a green box. But unlike in AutoCAD, in Prokon Padds, if you just BB, whether you select from the left going to the right or you just BB and you select from the right going to the left, you still get a green box. But there is one difference that you might want to notice. The one that you get when you go from the left to the right is solid, but the one that you get when you go from the right to the left is dashed. The reason is the same mechanism still applies. Once you say BB and you select from the left going to the right, everything that is covered by the box is going to be selected, but everything that is not going to be covered by the box, for example in this way that I'm now doing it, is not going to be selected. It only selected all those things that were covered by the box. But in this case, if you select now from the green, or should I say no, from the right going to the left, anything that is touched by the box will be selected just like that. Let me just do it again. We didn't cover everything, but as you can see, all the line work geometry has been selected even when it wasn't covered by the box. But then some of you may be asking me, but the geometry or the reinforcement was not included in the selection. Yes, that is one glitch or one anomaly that is with Prokon Padds. Unfortunately for your reinforcement, whether you're selecting it from the left going to the right, for example like this, or from the right going to the left, you need to cover everything for the reinforcement to be selected. If you do not cover everything, for example in this case, the reinforcement will not be selected. But in this case, just check, I've covered this bar in totality, but the other 3 vertical bars are not covered, but they are not selected. But as you can see, when I only covered the bar, but my box was able to touch the geometry of this line work, or should I say the slab and the hidden beams, and the hidden beams were also selected. So that is how you quickly make a selection of anything that is on the screen. You can just remember it's BB, select everything, or BB, select a bit of everything that you want. In this case, if you want to select the rebar, just make sure that everything is covered under the box. So this is how you quickly make a selection in Prokon Padds. And the next thing that I think we need to look at is, after you make a selection, how do you now, if you go to block, you see under actions there is load, copy, move, or rotate, so and save as well. But in this case, what we just want to focus on the actions that are action 3 and action 4. That is what we're going to look at in the next videos. So until we get to there, we're going to wrap the video right now. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next lesson.